Hi, thanks for watching. I am going to do a very quick review and try on of the new Kat Von D Beauty Lolita Pour Vida palette. Is this or is this not the most beautiful palette you have seen in a long time? It is absolutely stunning. The packaging's gorgeous, all the different tones and things on there, and it's kind of embossed as well. It's so nice. I know it's cardboard, but it's that kind of cardboard that will clean up really nicely if you're like me and you just manage to make an absolute mess of your makeup. So I have no worries about it being cardboard packaging. Yeah, it has all the shades on the back. Let's have a look at the palette. How pretty is that? I love it so much. It's absolutely gorgeous. I think I would call it a neutral palette because there's a kind of lavendery shade in there, and there are some sort of, you know, some richer tones, but this is neutral enough that I would use it for bridal makeup. And it's neutral enough that I would use it just day to day as well. So I think for a neutral palette it is very interesting though. It's got a range of different textures, which I love to see in a palette. It's got a bunch of matte colours, and I would rather a palette be predominantly mattes because that's what you're going to use for your blending. That's what you're going to use for the crease of your eyes. That's what you can chuck on just day to day for a little bit of colour. But it also has like a couple of satin kind of textured ones, some shimmers, metallics, and a glitter as well. So as a balance of textures, I absolutely love it. Really nice mixture of tones as well. You've got a few warm tones, and then the rest are these beautiful kind of grungy autumnal shades, which I love. There are so many warm toned eyeshadow palettes in the world and we all love them. They do look good on most people, but it's so nice to see something different while still having a mixture of tones across the palette. It means that as an artist, I can use it on a bunch of different clients. I like to wear warm tones and cool tones. I kind of love them both equally, so for me personally, that's really nice as well. And there is like a little bit of a pop of colour, and you can kind of mix up your eye makeup, add a bit of interest by adding the shimmers and glitters as well. So I think in that respect it is a good solid neutral palette without being anything boring or anything. I don't really know what I could compare it to. It doesn't really remind me of any of the Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes. It doesn't really remind me of any of the Urban Decay palettes. They've done the Naked Cherry, but that was way more kind of red toned than this. And you can see there are a couple of kind of reddish shades in there. But yeah, there isn't a palette in my collection I could really compare this to. If that changes, I will update the description box. I will have a dig through my collection later and just see if there's anything else that it would be comparable to. Overall, I'm quite happy to have this. I've just filmed doing my eyes because I didn't want to come on camera with half my makeup done, but prior to trying the shadows I hadn't swatched them, hadn't touched them, so I will go over to doing my eye makeup now, show you how they apply, and you can see me using the shadows for the first time and see my first impressions too. Hopefully I've zoomed in enough. If my skin looks a little bit funny, it's because I did a peel the other night, like an at-home peel, and it is a bit flaky, so I've put like an oil on to prep under my makeup, and yeah, I'm gonna be taking this makeup off pretty soon, I think. So let's try the palette. I haven't even touched this palette yet. It has taken all my willpower, but I wanted to try it for the first time on camera and try it directly onto my eyes. So I think I'm going to do kind of like a grungy sort of eye, maybe not too dark but kind of smoky. Ah, so pretty. So I think I'm going to start with this colour here, that is called Destino, and I'm just going to pop that over my lid. I do love kind of a satiny shade to prime my eyes sometimes, and this looks like it's kind of a satin texture. Oh, I love it so much. That's so nice. It's not what I would call a shimmery eyeshadow, it just gives you just kind of a radiant finish, I suppose. Like if you were to use this as a highlighter on your cheeks, it wouldn't really highlight the cheeks, but it would give you a really subtle glow. It'd be absolutely fine blending on top of this kind of texture, I think. So I've kind of set my primer with that. I primed my eyes with one of the Makeup Revolution paint pot type of things. So my eyes have got a bit of coverage over them so I can really see what the shadows are doing. I'll link the primer down below, it's such a good one. I'm going to start mapping out the crease of my eye now, and I'm going to use this shade called Muñeca. It's just there, and it's kind of a soft grey, slightly more taupey than sort of like a stony grey colour. It's not a blue grey at all, more of a brown based colour. And that's applying really, really nicely as well. Much more pigmented than I thought actually. I thought that was going to be really subtle, and it's not. It's giving me quite a good amount of colour there, good amount of pigmentation. That's really pretty. I love a crease colour that's quite neutral, because I feel like a lot of those sort of typical crease colours that get chucked into palettes like this, well, I guess it's a neutrals palette more or less, they come up quite warm on me, and my skin tone is quite balanced. I'm not really a warm tone or a cool tone. So this is perfect, this kind of taupey shade that's not coming up as like a straight up cool grey. So I'm going to pop some colour over my lids now, and I'm going to keep it matte for now, I think. So let's go in with this mid-tone brown. It's called Juanita. Don't know how well you saw that. There we go, just there. This brown is so pretty. It's a really nice mid brown tone. I don't want to do kind of a light to dark gradient on these eyes. I want to make them more grungy and more softly smoky. And the shade is so pretty. Again, it's blending really, really nicely, especially for a darker shade. I feel like this has got a really even coverage as it's going onto my skin. It's not going patchy. Really pleased. I don't know where I got to, but I just had to mess around with the focus on the camera. So I'm going to go in and start just deepening up the colour on my eyes. I'm going to use this shade, Lolita por Vida, in this corner just here. It's almost got kind of a pinky tone to it, like a really rich kind of pink undertone, which is so pretty. And I'm just packing that colour on before I worry about blending it, because I want a really nice rich colour payoff. And these shadows, all the shadows I've tried so far, seem really pigmented, so should have no problem with that. Going back to this brush and the shade that I used in my crease, Muñeca. I'm just blending that out just really, really quickly. I feel like these grungy, smoky eyes, I struggle with them because I want everything to be super, super perfect, but actually you want that smudgy, smoky eye kind of effect. So I'm using big motions to blend this out. I'm gonna just start adding some balance to my makeup now, and just gonna add some colour underneath my eyes. So I want this to be quite big and blown out and smoky. So I'm gonna start again with the colour I used in my crease, that kind of pale taupe sort of shade, and just map out where I want to go under my eyes and how far down I want to go. It feels like I'm going really, really far down with this colour, but when it's all blended, it will look really, really pretty, I think. It really suits me to have like a smoky lower lash line as well. So this is just going to kind of guide me as I deepen the lower lash line, this colour here. And then I'm going to make that lower lash line even darker and add some of this shade here, Carino. Really, really beautiful deep purple. This kind of shade is something that I use a lot on clients actually. It's a way to just add a little bit of colour into your makeup, but without it being bright colour. So it's, I guess I would call it kind of a neutral purple. It's not like a royal purple or a lilac or a lavender that's going to give you a really bright colour. It's still got that neutral undertone, and it's still really flattering. I think I'm going to tuck a tiny bit of that dark purple into the outer corners of my upper lid as well and just make that a little bit deeper. I think I can get away with it because the lower lash line is so dark. Right, I've tested out a bunch of the mattes from this palette now. I'm really, really excited to get stuck into these shimmers. So there's two metallics, Luna and Dulce Sueños, which I think means sweet dreams. That one and that one just there. And then there's some kind of shimmery colours. So there's this one called Preciosa in the corner, and then this one just here, which looks like it might be a duochrome kind of colour, which is really cool. Oh, I'm kind of spoilt for choice. I think I'm going to go in with Luna and add a bit of highlight to my inner corners. See how this applies. I feel like shimmers for me are a true test of how much I'm going to love a palette, because I always, any makeup I do, I'll add some shimmer into the mix. I love bright highlights on the eyes. I love like a pop of shimmer or glitter in the centre of the lid as well. So it really, really makes me happy when a palette has got one or two really good shimmer shades included. It just saves me as well having to have multiple palettes open, especially if I'm in a hurry, or like most jobs that I work on, I am under some kind of time pressure. And if I can work from one palette, that is helpful. It's not always what I end up doing, but it does help. Really pretty. I don't know how well you can see, but it's got kind of a pink shift to it, which is really nice. I really like that. I'm dying to try this glitter. So this glitter is called Raina and it's so pretty. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's so nice. I am gonna go straight in with a damp brush. The glitter's quite chunky, not in, you know, not in a bad way, but I just think that I'm gonna need some help to get that to stick onto my eyes and not go all down my face. I could be wrong, but I'm just gonna spray my brush with a bit of All Nighter setting spray from Urban Decay, and I'm gonna use this flat Morphe brush. You can see that's a really flat kind of firm brush, and just see how well this picks up the glitter. You can see there's a good amount on that brush, so I think I made the right choice. I'm gonna put that right in the center. Oh wow, that is major. Okay, I'm very happy with that. You just never know, especially with a pressed glitter, what's gonna happen, but there is not one bit of glitter on my cheek, so I think that's definitely the way to apply this one. It's definitely like kind of kicking up quite a lot of glitter when I'm dipping my brush into the shadow, but that's not translating as fallout all down my face. So I think the formulation of this is absolutely lovely. I'm really happy with that. So pretty. It takes a lot to impress me with glitter as well, because I feel like most makeup artists, we have used the good and the bad in terms of mixing mediums and pre-mixed glitters and glitters we bought off eBay, and years and years and years ago I was obsessed with those Urban Decay heavy metal liners that they still do now, and I still always have a couple in my makeup kit. They were so good, but they take forever to dry. I think the mixing medium that the glitter's mixed with is quite thick, which is good because you get a good payoff, but you're sat there and your client has their eyes closed for ages and ages and ages while that stuff dries off. So I'm just gonna go and pop some liner on and some lashes, and then I will come back and give my final thoughts on this. So I'm back. I used just a really thin line of the Kat Von D brown liquid liner on the top. The name is escaping me, but it's that, is it the tattoo liner? The liner pen that everyone's tried. And I used the Cake liner pencil, which is one of my favourite products from the brand, in brown underneath my eyes. And then the lashes I have on are two sets of the Ardell Demi Wispies stacked. So what do I think of the palette? I absolutely love it. I've tried a number of shades from there. I haven't tried the warm tones, but they look really pretty, but I'm assuming the quality is the same across the palette, and I think this has now become my new everyday palette. It has warm tones, cool tones, the best glitter that I've tried in ages and ages and ages. It's got some nice shimmer shades, colours I can use to highlight. I think I'm quite happy. I can see myself getting a lot of use out of that. And I did think that I would put it in my kit to use on clients, but actually I can totally see that becoming my new everyday palette that I use all the time. So I might keep that for myself. Definitely recommend it. If you're looking for a palette that can do daytime makeup, nighttime makeup, going out makeup, this definitely will see you through so many occasions. It would be really cute for bridal makeup. I think those kind of purpley plummy tones are really sweet. They make for like a really romantic eye makeup. And there's some shimmer and some glitter in there as well. And I also love that there's warm tones too, because I wear warm tones a lot of the time. So yeah, go ahead and buy it while you still can. I believe that's limited edition. So I think if you want one, go and get one soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.